Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play SimCity. On the last episode, we took our tutorial city, our practice city, up a little bit further and finally reached the precipice of 70,000 people. So, I think we're pretty accomplished here. Let me get rid of the menu here. And you can see we've got a few buildings that are at R top, so that's nice. We don't have any commercial buildings that are, well, C top yet, but we might later. We'll just have to see what happens. What I'm going to do is, first of all, these residential zones down here, it's not really adding much to the population, so I'm going to expand everything out just a little bit further. And we're going to need some more industrial zones. Our industrial zone meter is going through the roof. We need some serious industrial zones, so let's do that. And that'll work for that. Okay, and I'm going to put up some more commercial zones. And I think that's good enough. Kind of a little barrier, I suppose, for industrial. It doesn't have to be exact, it just has to work. We could use some more residential zones here, I would imagine. And commercial zones over here would probably be good too, I would imagine. I would hazard a guess. And let's put some rail here. Again, it doesn't have to connect up too much to it, but it works. And we really need some places for these Sims to live. And I'm gonna, well, yeah, that should work. I'm gonna put just a little residential zone here just in case I need some extra space. And I'm gonna fill this out a little bit more. And that's going to be a little too close, of course, but we can fill that here and here. And if it's out of balance, I am going to rebalance it, so. And that's a little too close for that, so. Okay, great. Now, I think that about does it for that. I'm going to show you the map a little bit, by the way. Give me just a moment. I will show you the map. And here we go. The police radius is pretty decent. Population growth. It's going to, well, population density is good. But since our population is kind of stabled out, population growth isn't going to be that great. It is in some areas, but there you go. Traffic density, look at that. We have no traffic to speak of, and I just got rid of the map. Of course, if you use rails, you're not going to have traffic. So that's the way to do it. Population. Oh, and that red spot, by the way, right there, that's just kind of a little glitch in the graphics. It's not a max spot. It's just, you know, a glitch in the graphic. But anyways, our pollution is bad in the industrial zones and the nuclear power plant, but what are you going to do? Crime rate, it's really bad down there, so I think we're gonna leave it the way it is right now. It's really bad over here, but we kind of need some sort of we could kind of zone stack a police station, I guess. And I could probably fit another industrial zone here. Nope, I can't. I think this works for now. And we've got this little island here, so let me bulldoze that a little bit. I can't get my controller straight. There we go. And I want to bulldoze this edge a little bit. Make sure I don't bulldoze the zones. Usually if you go right into the zone, you're not going to bulldoze it. You have to kind of go right over the zone where the R is or the C is. So, but still, I mean, don't just blindly bulldoze everything. I'm going to put some parkland up here too. Make things a little pretty. This will help with property values as well. And you'll notice the seasons actually change in this game. We're in spring, so the trees are kind of blooming. It's nice. And the parkland will help with pollution. So, that's good to know. Parkland is a good thing. If you can get parkland, do it. If you can afford it, put it out there. It's a pain in the butt, but the benefits are worth it. Okay, I think we're going to accept that. Let's prettify this up a little bit. And we can't put parkland where the power lines are, so I think that about covers that. Let's actually see what goes on when we speed up the game. Let's see how the population goes. And I could probably put some more police departments up, but I'm okay. Ooh, I missed a spot. There we go. Alright, let me speed it up a little bit and we'll see what happens. Well, wait a minute. We're running out of land right now, and if you run out of land, you can get a landfill. And pause that if you wanted to read over that. I'm sorry if I went through that a little too quickly, but let me explain it for you. Landfill will actually just fill in the land a little bit and give you an extra zone. So let's see if there's a place over here that could probably use an extra, not a 3x3 square. And it'd be nice if the residential zones could have a little place for them to live, so. Let's see, where could we put them? I kind of want to put it on the edge so they have some sort of a location, because it's still going to have some sort of access to it. Hadn't really thought about where I'm going to put it. Ah, this might work. Oh, pollution. I don't care. Okay, landfill. You pretty much select the landfill. Oh, we're out of money. Sorry. Let's wait till the next year and we'll get some money and we'll do that. So let's let the city grow. So I'll be right back. Alright, let's get some money here. You can see a couple messages that showed up. One was that we need another power plant, which we don't have the money for. And we also need an airport. Let's see if there's anything else it requires here. And that's it. So we don't have the money for that, so let's go get the money for that. We're just going to have to wait another year, so our Sims will be happy. They won't care. Oh, and by the way, there's a couple of schools and hospitals I want to get rid of, so let me go ahead and get rid of those. And let me put in the landfill as well, since I didn't have the money to do that. Let's see, are there any other schools and hospitals around here that I want to get rid of? Not yet. Landfill, by the way, you just put the little area there and you fill in a little bit of land, and that's all it is to it. And since I think it's kind of amusing, I'm going to put these guys out there in the middle of nowhere. Let's see if they have access to an underground railroad. Well, we'll find out. So, okay, I think we're good there. Let's wait until next year, unless anything weird happens, and we'll have enough money for new power plants. So, okay, we've got enough money for a power plant now. So what I am going to do is find some space for a power plant. And we don't have a whole lot of space around here that we could probably use. So let's find somewhere. Oh, come on. Let me get rid of this damn hospital. Well, I don't need a hospital in this city. Look at this. And that's one thing, is that there's kind of sometimes, if there's no hospitals, there's kind of a pressure to put a hospital somewhere. If you do get one and you don't want one there, just keep bulldozing until you get what you want. You know. You'll be alright. Now, we need another power plant, so what are we going to do? The stadium, I'd rather keep that there. We need a 4x4 grid for a power plant. And let me pause it for a second, because we are running out of space here. That would probably be a good place for a power plant around here, or around here. I would have to get rid of an industrial zone. Down here would be a good place for a power plant, but we also need a little bit of space down here for something else. And if we put the power plant there, we may not have space for it. So a power plant is has a kind of a NIMBY effect as well. Like, people don't want it in their backyard either. Let's see, this might be good space for it. I have to delete 2 zones for this, but I think we'll be okay. I need the space. Sorry. Okay, good. And let's fill this up with parkland again. Our Sims just aren't going to have jobs, that's all. So there we go. Let's see what happens to our population now. It should increase quite a bit. So, we'll find out. Okay, our budget's good. Let's see what happens until the next year. Because what we're going to need is we're going to need enough money for an airport. So, we'll see. Okay, we don't have enough money for it yet. You'll see. Okay, great. We have enough money for the airport now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it, just so I can have kind of a cutoff point here. And the airport is a rather large tile, and we don't have a whole lot of spaces here that we can put it in, so I'm going to put it down here. It doesn't have to really be connected up with your city, but, and it doesn't really even have to have power, believe it or not. You can actually run your airport without power, and it should work. And it'll give you all the benefits, but it won't give you pollution. So I think I'm going to show that off. It should work in theory, from what I've tried out before. So now we've got the airport there. We should have less of a cap on growth, and we've got yet another landfill. And I don't know where I'm going to put that yet. I'm going to hold off on the landfill just yet. So, oh, now we got another gift for an expo. This is kind of 100,000 population cap, or it happens around 80,000 people, I guess, and once you have an airport. But expo is also, I believe, somewhat of a population cap. I'm not 100% sure of that, so don't quote me on that. But the airport definitely is a population cap. It'll cap your population, and it can't go any higher until you get the airport. So, and this is obviously not getting any power. So that's, yeah. And let me make sure there's anything else we need to do around here. The expo is going to help commercial zones, so I'm going to put the expo up here. Since that thing is not even growing. Alright, there we go. Now we have an expo center. And we definitely can have room for more Sims here, so can we make it to 20,000 more people? I think we can. So let's watch and see what happens. Alright, as you can see, we're almost at 90,000 people already, and our city's growing pretty rapidly. Our expo is going well. That's helping our commercial zones. We've got a big need for industrial zones and commercial zones, so what we may do is take away some of these smaller industrial zones. Let me pause it for a second and show you what I'm going to do. Is now we're trying to squeeze in more industrial zones, we're trying to squeeze in more residential zones, we're trying to squeeze in more jobs, to put it bluntly. So what I'm going to do here is put a little rail there, that's all it really needs to be there. And we could squeeze in something else here, but since this commercial zone isn't developing, and these aren't developing, I'm going to get rid of these and put in industrial zones. And we're going to inch a little forward with this and see if that helps the growth of the town just a little bit. Obviously, they're not going to want to build around here because it's not very good land values. So, let's experiment. Since this zone is not working very well, let's put in a little bit of land value around here. And we got 11,000 more people we can squeeze in here. I think we can do it, so let's see what happens. Let's unpause it first. And a lot of these commercial zones haven't reached their full potential yet either, so there are other things we can do, so we'll see what we can do. Okay, great. We're already at 95,000 people. Before we go a little further, there's also some other things we can do. Now remember what I said about the rail. It doesn't have to connect on, you know, all your edges of your zones. We can actually squeeze in some more, we can actually squeeze in a little more parkland in certain spaces. And that may actually help some of these commercial zones to get to their top potential. So what we can do is get rid of some of these things here. I'm going to, well, you'll see. Okay, let me get this back here. First of all, I'm going to fill this up with parkland. I'm going to see what impact this has here. Obviously, some of this needs rail, so you can build rail over the parkland, so keep that in mind. These zones do kind of need some sort of a connection, so yeah. And be very careful with your bulldoze tool, because you do not want to bulldoze everything. And I'm going to reconnect this back up. But yeah, you don't want to bulldoze your zones there. This parkland should help the commercial zones a little bit, I think. And we've got yet another landfill. I don't know what we're going to do with the landfill just yet. Actually, right here may be a good place for it, because, well, excuse me. Right here should be a good place for it. And put a residential zone here, and that will give us a little bit more growth. So let's see if we can make it to 100,000 in this video. So okay, now we've got to squeeze in some more people in here somehow. But let's see how the growth is. The growth is actually doing very well right now. We can squeeze in a few more people, I think. More than likely we can. Let me look around here a little bit more, see if we can squeeze in. Well, we could squeeze in another industrial zone there, I suppose. Or perhaps there, or there, or there. We may be able to make it without squeezing anything else in here. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out. Let's see, I couldn't really squeeze in something there or there. So this is where it gets interesting, where we're trying to reach 100,000 sims on this area, because there's just not a whole lot of room. So what we've got to do is figure out where we can maximize growth in other areas, and maybe increase demand in some spots. There doesn't seem to be very much demand in this section right here. So if I could possibly do this, maybe put some parkland up here, and maybe that would help. And I have an empty zone here. I'm going to try to see what we can do with that in the meantime. Little things like this can help your population, because every little thing counts. So let's see what happens. Alright, I'm going to pause it for a second, and we're inching closer to it. You can see what's happening here is there's a very high demand for industrial and commercial. So what we need to do is probably put in an industrial zone or commercial zone here. Now how I kind of like to do this is that if there's a high demand for commercial and industrial, that means that there are too many jobs and not enough people. In other words, let me reverse that. There are not enough jobs and too many people. So what we need to do is, with these areas that are kind of low, maybe increase the industrial zone so we can give more jobs for these people. And maybe down here, they could probably deal with another industrial zone. So I think that would probably push us closer. Because you can see here, there's actually room for these zones to grow a little bit more. But there's no jobs for these guys. So we've got to improve the growth over here so that these zones up here can improve. And these zones can improve further as well, but we'll worry about that in the meantime. Let me make sure the speed is where we need it to be, and let's keep going. Okay, I'm going to pause it for just a second, because we're still not at 100,000 people. And so what we've got to do is find room for just 1,000 more jobs. What can we do? Well, let's find out. Right here we've got some commercial zones that aren't developing, so let's switch those over to industrial. We also need some spots for our citizens to live. we could put another residential zone here, or maybe a commercial zone here. I'm gonna put a commercial zone right here, and this might help. We can't really put a zone there or there, but I could have squeezed in more zones over here, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So, yeah, that's okay. What I'm going to do is put some residential zones here, and a commercial zone or two, and that'll help. And yes, we're gonna lose a little bit of jobs and whatnot, but this should push us over the top. So, we'll find out. So anyways, let me get rid of this damn hospital. I'm gonna squeeze in a few more zones here while we can, by the way. And we can also squeeze in some more zones here. And we can also squeeze in some more zones around here somewhere. Probably. I'm gonna double check on that though. Well, I can put some more parkland here. Let's see what we can do around here. I could probably zone stack a little bit, but I don't want to do that just yet. So I'm gonna speed it up and see if we can get to 100,000. So yes, I know. I don't care about landfill. I don't care about pollution. Alright, let me also move some zones over to industrial. Because industrial will have a higher chance of growing compared to the other zones. So let's see. I want to maybe move this over there, over there. That industrial zone hasn't grown yet because it doesn't have power. But this is what we're talking about when we're just trying to squeeze out more and more and more out of our zones as much as we can. So let me double check on this here. Okay, let me look around a little bit more. Okay, there we go. We could probably increase some of the zones here. See, there's one zone here that's not growing. That's why. And also what we could probably do here, since we've got some landfill space, let's put in another industrial zone. And I could probably zone stack a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Let's put some more parkland over here. Alright, and let's see what happens. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and hopefully we can get to 100,000. Okay, we got a disaster here, which is a shipwreck. And of course, it got my airport. So what I'm going to do is I can't really get that, so I can't really bulldoze that. So what I can do is put the little thing up here, and the airport's just going to go up in flames. Watch. Oh, the airport is fine, and we reached a metropolis, so great. Thought the airport was going to be up in flames, but guess what? It's not. Let's just put some parkland here. I guess the fire just went out by itself. So, there you go. So, if you wanted to pause that message, by the way, from Metropolis, you'll see it a couple more times anyway. Now that we've gotten, well, we had 100,000, so let's get it back to 100,000 again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there we go. We're at 100,000 even. This is a great place to stop. So thank you so much for watching Let's Play SimCity. I'll try to edit this down a little bit so that you don't have to deal with so much. I'll try to edit this down into a 20-25 minute video, but thanks again for watching SimCity. On the next episode, we're going to look at the city a little bit further in detail and also take a look at building our own city with our own landforms. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.